if there is another incident and it's not being handled, if an officer shoots someone in cold blood and is not arrested, and the feeling is, wait a minute, that's an injustice, a miscarriage of justice, and due process is not really working here. We're overdue for a process that actually works and brings criminals, in this case, to justice. Because it's a crime to shoot someone in cold blood. Then I would say that the players can always stop playing again. So they right now have the best of all worlds strategically. They've made their point. They're going to resume play. Still, cameras and microphones will be in their face. Here we are talking about the issues that they want us to talk about. And at any moment, it could all come crashing down again. They could just stop playing again. And Stephen A., I want to mention that while we wonder, can baseball finish their season because of the pandemic and COVID cases? Will football be able to because of the pandemic and the likelihood of COVID cases? They're not in a bubble. There's no vaccination. The NBA has their destiny in their own hands. These players and the league have created a situation where the pandemic, knock wood, doesn't look like it's going to stop anything. They have 0 cases for a while now. It's their choice if they continue playing or not. And that says a lot about the health of that league.
Well, it says a lot about the health of the league, but it's also incumbent upon them to contribute to the healthiness of the league. And I'm not saying they haven't, because obviously they have. I'm saying, Max, it's necessary that it continues. For example, what I mean by that is this. We're sitting here and we're talking about social justice issues, and we're talking about a pause in play because of these social justice issues. Any black person with a soul, obviously all of us have one, the bottom line is you can't help but appreciate the position that they've taken, the level of attention that has been brought to the equation, and as a result, we see people standing up and doing what they did. One of the things that I'm going to get into a little bit later on the show is the meetings that they had yesterday. In particular, LeBron James. I will be talking about him because there's a light that needs to be shined upon him and some of the things that transpired yesterday that the basketball world needs to know, and LeBron definitely needs to hear, but I'll get into that a little bit later. The point that I'm trying to make here, Max, is this. Social justice is important and as imperative as it is. That doesn't give you a license or an excuse not to show up to work. And that's what we have to remember here. There was an agreement that took place between the players and the owners in the league before you decided to go to the bubble. The reason why I bring that up is not to be dismissive in any way, because again, I'm a black man. Of course I'm not doing that. What I am saying is, unless you could sit here and say another black man is not going to get shot by a police officer, another unarmed black man is not going to get shot by a police officer ever again, we know none of us believe that. And so the likelihood is that it's possibly going to happen again. Is that a license for the players to just walk off the court and not play? That doesn't work, because that's not something the league has any control over. The players have no control over that. And so if it's one thing for the pandemic to be an issue. That is a virus that has ravaged our globe, for crying out loud. People's very health is at stake. You can walk around, you don't know whether it's airborne, if you're touching an elevator button, if you're in an Uber or whatever the case may be. All of those things come with it. But in terms of incidents that happen in the streets of the United States of America, if you're saying that a police officer shooting an unarmed black man is justification to walk off the job, then a whole bunch of people are not going to show up to work. As a result, a whole bunch of people are not going to get paid. As a result, a whole bunch of people are going to be compromised economically.
Yes,
and we simply know that's not going to happen. But that's not going to happen,
Stephen
Max.
A., quickly.
That could happen with them. That's not going to happen with the guys.
Stephen A., that's sensible. You're right. I mean, that is like what the NBA can't solve racism tomorrow and then everything's okay. But those arguments are usually used against protesters or strikers. This has been described as a boycott and a strike. Insofar as what you're talking about, like they can't just walk off the job. Actually, they can. they'd be on strike. They'd be striking, saying, no, we're not going to do this. Now, usually a strike has to do with some kind of concessions that you're looking for the league to give you. And at a certain point, people may say, well, what else can the league do? The players may feel the league can do more. Or the players may feel this is not directed at the league. This is directed at a broader society that maybe is interested in our league.
That's what they've done.
But stopping
That's
work
what they've
and the
already done.
sacrifice they make and the way they make everyone feel uncomfortable is precisely the point, even though clearly they're not going to solve racism by doing so in one day. Of course not.
But in the same point, Max, I get that because again, I'm a part of the community that's doing the protesting. I'm a part of the community that has been ostracized and vilified and minimized and demeaned, et cetera, et cetera. The point that I'm trying to make to you is that at the end of the day, when a white NBA owner or a commissioner or a league executive or whatever that's working in the NBA, that has cultivated a relationship and a partnership with the NBA players, when they sit up there and they say, could you explain to me what I have to do with police brutality? What do I have to do? I can help you in whatever endeavor you'd like me to partake and to challenge the system on. I have no problem with that.
May not be directed
but what
at the
exactly
owners,
do
Stephen
I
A.
have to do with that? I'm not saying that, Max. I'm not saying it's directed at the owner. But the owner has a right to stand up and say, your actions are still detrimentally affecting us. And because we're in a partnership, that means it's going to detrimentally affect you. I respect where you're coming from, but in the same breath, do you have answers or cures that nobody has been able to have answers or cures to for the last 400 years? Because help us out. We need answers. They have a right to ask that question. And players, if you're going to take these positions, have a responsibility to have some kind of answer. That's all I'm saying.